1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hi, now that you've finished, I hope, the multiplication fun games about learning how to multiply, building different kinds of creatures, the doghouse, a pumpkin, a robot, I think you're ready for something called shortcut division. Are you ready? I'm ready. So you have to know a little bit about multiplying, but not a lot. And I think you do. So I'm going to start very simply, and then we're going to go on and really make it exciting. So here's the first one we're going to do. Suppose I had 4, and I wanted to find out how many times, do you hear the times? How many times I can subtract 2 from 4? Well, if you know your times tables, you probably know that you could subtract it twice. In other words, 2 taken 2 times is 4. So that's what I'm going to write up here. But could you do it this way? Could you just know your times tables? And so using a 2, how many times do I need to subtract 2? Or how many times do I need to multiply 2 to get 4? And the answer is 2. So when you don't do all this writing, just use your head. It's called shortcut division. Bye. Hi. So we're going on with shortcut division, where you don't do all that writing underneath. You just use your multiplication facts, your times tables, and we've been doing that together. So here we have 6, 4, and 2, 642, and we want to know how many times we can count 2 out of this big numeral. So we can count 2 out of 6, which really means how many times can you subtract 2 from 6? You know, because you know your times tables. You can subtract it 3 times. Good. And then 4. What do you need to multiply 2 by to get 4? You know your times tables, right? 2 times 2 is 4. So let's write a 2 up here. This is division, but you're very smart and you're using your multiplication facts to figure out the answer. Good job. Let's do the last one. So this says 2. What number do you need to multiply 2 by to get 2? 1. Good. And if you were looking over here, you could see that I'd already written the answer, 321, which is what I wrote up here, 321. And so I've taken 1 twice, 2 times is 2. And I've taken 2 times is 4. And I've taken 3, where's my 3? 3, 2 times is 6. And that's what I started with. And you solved it by doing shortcut division because you know your times tables. Good job. Bye. Hi. So we're going on with shortcut division, and we're solving the problem of what the answer is by using our times tables, by knowing about multiplication facts. So here's our problem. We have 402, 402, and we want to know how many times we can subtract 2 from 4. Or if I figured out the answer up here, it should equal 4. You know, right? It's 2. 2 times 2 is 4. See how important your multiplication facts are? And the next one's tricky. Are you ready for the next one? This is 0. How many times can you subtract 2 from 0? Or what do you need to multiply 2 by to get 0? This is really tricky, but some of you know how much I love 0. 0 times 2 is 0. Yes, so we have to write a 0 up here. Cool, right? And then How many times can you subtract, or what do you need to multiply 2 by to get 2? 1. Good. And if you were looking over here, you already saw the right answer, right? 201. So now let's prove that it's the right answer by using our multiplication facts. We have 1 taken 2 times is 2. Oops, it's a very, wow, fancy 2, huh? Okay, and we have 0 taken twice. You know, we've been doing a lot with 0 in the past. It's 0. And then, oh, our friendly 2 taken 2 times is 4. Wow, you got the answer by using your times tables, your multiplication facts. Good job. Bye. We're back and we're doing shortcut division. So now you know the game because we've been working with our 2 times tables, our multiplication facts using 2. So I'm just going to ask you the question. How many times can you count 2 out of 6? Or if you have a numeral up here that you multiply by 2, what is it that gives you 6? Sure, 3. See, I told you knew your 2 times tables. Okay, how about 4? If we have 4 and we're dividing it, shortcut division, by 2, what numeral goes up here? In other words, something times 2 gives you 4. Yes, 2. And here's, I made a silly 2 there. And here's a 0. So we know, don't we, that you can't count 2 out of 0. You might be able to do something similar to that later, but not today. So it's 0. And then how many times can you subtract 2 from 2? Or what do you multiply 2 by to get 2? 1. So here it is, as times as multiplication. Yes. So 1 taken 2 times is 2. 0 taken 2 times is 0. 2 taken 2 times is 4. And what? 3 taken 2 times is 6. Notice what we started with. Yes. 6, 4, 0, 2. Good. Bye. We're going on with shortcut division using our multiplication facts. Oh, I love this problem. Are you ready? This is so clever. So this says, how many times can you subtract 2 from 5? Or, what do I need to put up here in the answer? Well, when I multiply it by 2 gives me 5. Nothing. Let's just try a 2 as an experiment, because 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. That means I have 1 left over. Watch. I'm going to put the 1 right here with the 0. Now what's the question? How many times can I subtract 2 from 10? Yes. How many times? What do I multiply 2 by to get 10? You know, we were doing that. 5. And you could look over here in case you weren't quite sure how this was going to turn out. You can see the answer for shortcut division is 25. And here I've written 25. So it's 25. Here's a 25 taken 2 times. 25 taken 2 times. Okay, we're going to do some carrying now. So 5 times 2 is 10 in the units place. And then we need to put this 1, the one that was here, in the tens place. These are the 2 tens, right? Good. So now we have 2 times 2 is 4. And 1 more 10 is 5. That was pretty tricky. I'm going to just say it one more time. When we found out that it was 2 times 2 is 4, I could write it down underneath, or I could just keep that extra 1 in my brain. So I'm going to write the 1 next to the 0. And then how many times can I subtract 2 from 10? Or what do I need to multiply 2 by to get 10? And it's 5. So here's the 5. And then when I do the multiplication, 5 times 2 is 10. And I have to put the 1 where the 2 is, 10s. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 more is 5. Hi, I thought you'd like the last problem. Therefore, we're going to do another one with this tricky thing called 0. So this says we're dividing shortcut division 70 by 2. So how many times can you subtract 2 from 7? Or what do you multiply 2 by to get a 7? And we have 1 left over. If you were at the last part of the lesson, you know we're just going to put the 1 here. We're not going to do all the writing underneath that you might learn later in school. So now the question is, how many 2's can you subtract from 10? Or what do you need to multiply 2 by to get 10? Well, some of you did the 2 times table with me, and the 4 times table, and the 5 times table. I think we need the 2 times table and the 5 times table. Yes, we need a 5 up here. 2 taken 5 times is 10. And you are also smart, and you were already looking at the answer that I have over here. Sure. So it's 35 taken 2 times. So 5 taken twice is 10. And we need to put the, whoops, I just scribbled on my paper. Sometimes I make mistakes, and I think those are fun too. We're just going to put the 1 up here. Sloppy 1. Pretty 1. Depends upon what you think. Okay, so then we have 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 more is 7. Who wants to see a sloppy 7? Nah, I think I'll just write the regular one. There we go. 70, right? And that's what we started with. This shortcut division is so clever. I hope you like it as much as I do. We're going to do one more kind of thing here. Bye. Hi. You know I like 0, so now we're going to do another one with 0. Since we're doing shortcut division, how many times can you subtract 2 from 5? You know your times tables. We can subtract 2 from 5 only 2 times. And what do we have left? We have 1 left from the 5, right? And let's cozy it up with a 0 and put it right here. Yay! We have 10. So now, how many times can I subtract 2 from 10? Or what do I need to multiply 2 by to get 10? Or what do I need to multiply 5 by to get 10? 2. Sure. Good. Look what we're left with, something so simple. How many times can you subtract 2 from 2? Or what do you need to multiply 2 by to get 2? 1. So this is the shortcut division. And we can write it over here and do the multiplication. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 2 is what? 10. And then we have this other number and numeral. Remember, this is units, tens, and hundreds. So we have the 1 in the hundreds place. 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 more is 500. Good job.